Namaste students, myself JBN Dr. Arun Kumar Singh, Faculty of Education and Methodology, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. I welcome to all of you in my digital class, BSc, B.Ed, JDC 5th semester. We will discuss the topic ecosystem. Ecosystem ecosystem firstly I introduce to you in ecosystem. Ecosystem involves both living organisms and non-living organisms physical condition. These two are inseparable but interrelated. For food, shelter, growth and development, all life systems interact with the environment. Environment is a life supporting system. In the subject of ecology, the term environment refers to the environment of life. It is a self-sustaining structural and functional unit of biosphere. An ecosystem may be natural or artificial, land-based or water-based. Artificial systems may include a cropland, a garden, a park, or an aquarium. In this episode, we are going to learn the following aspects: definition of an ecosystem, biotic components, abiotic components, function of an ecosystem, and process of ecosystem. Firstly, I discuss the definition of an ecosystem. The term eco refers to a part of the world and system refers to the coordinating units. The living organism of a habitat and their surroundings environment functions together as a single unit. This ecological unit is called as an ecosystem. An ecosystem is a naturally occurring assemblage of life and the environment. Different ecosystems are often separated by geographical barriers like deserts, mountains, and oceans are isolated otherwise like lakes or rivers. As these borders are never rigid, ecosystem tend to blend into each others. As a result, the whole earth can be seen as a single ecosystem, or a lake can be divided into several ecosystems depending on the used scale. The ecosystem is an open system. It receives energy from the outside sources as input, fix and utilize the energy and ultimately dissipates the heat into space as output. An ecosystem has a physical environment or factor, biological components and interactions between them. Any ecosystem is characterized by a set of abiotic and biotic factors and functions. The organisms in an ecosystem are usually well balanced with each other and with their environments. Introduction of new environmental factors or new species can have disastrous results, eventually leading to the collapse of an ecosystem and the death of many of its native species. The abstract notion of ecological health attempts to measure the robustness and capacity for recovery of a natural ecosystems. Within an ecosystem, all living things have a habitats or the physical area in which they live. The habitat of an ecosystem may include many different areas. For example, a mouse can be seen in a field, garden, or even in a house. Animals that migrate will have different habitats during different seasons. Some birds that live in a place during summers spends the winter in some other places. Macro and micro ecosystems. The dimensions and spread of an ecosystem may vary depending upon their existence and dimensions. Ecosystems are classified as macro ecosystems and micro ecosystems. Dimensionally larger systems such as a forest or a lake are called a macro ecosystem. Life scientists and environmental biologists who are interested to evaluate the functional mechanism of an ecosystem may create an experimental setup in the field or in the laboratory. Such setups are considered to be micro ecosystems. Depending upon their matrix of research, it may be a terrestrial microecosystem or an aquatic microecosystem. Biotic components. Biotic components include all living organisms and their products. This group includes all animals, plants, bacteria, fungi, and their waste products like fallen leaves or branches or etc. Based on their activity, biotic components are classified into four categories: producers, consumers, decomposers, and transformers. Okay, let us see these categories. Firstly, producers are autotrophs, make their own foods. Producers such as plants make food through a process called photosynthesis. This food is used by the plants for on its energy or may be eaten by consumers. Consumers are heterotrophs, need to eat food that autotrophs have produced. These are different types of consumers. Herbivores eats plants, carnivore eats animals, and omnivores eats both plant and animals. Next, decomposers. Decomposers are heterotrophs that break down the dead tissue and waste products. They play a very important role in the ecosystem because they recycle the nutrients. Bacteria and fungi are the main decomposers. Producers are called energy transducers. They convert solar energy into chemical energy with the help of organic and inorganic substance. The producers are called the autotrophic organism. They are capable of synthesizing foods from non-living inorganic compounds. They are largely represented by green plants on lands and phytoplanktons on waters. And next, consumers. Consumers are the organism whose food requirements are met by feeding on other organisms. They consume the food materials prepared by the producers. Okay. Hence, consumers are called a heterotrophic organisms. Animals belong to this category. Depending upon their food habitats, consumers are classified into primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. Firstly, the primary consumers are solely food on plants. Herbivores are plant centers. Grasshopper, rabbits, goats, sheep, and are primary consumers. Next, the secondary consumers feed on some primary consumers. Carnivores are flesh eaters, example as hawks, tigers, and lions. Omnivores, biophages, eat both vegetables and fleshes. Cockroach, fox, and humans, etc. are categorized in omnivores. Secondary consumers are those which predate on primary consumers. Example is several species of insect and fishes. Tertiary consumers are the predators of predators. They are mostly larger animals. Transformers. Transformers are certain types of bacteria. They attack on, on materials excreted by other living organisms, even dead plants and animals. They transform the above into either organic or inorganic substance. These substances are suitable for the nutrition of green plants. Transformers helps in recycling the nutrient which came as waste already decomposers. Next, they are also called as micro consumers. They depend on dead organic matter for their food. They are chiefly microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. They break the complex organic matter found in plants and animal bodies and release simple substance. These substance will be used by autotrophs. Once again, some invertebrates animals like protozoa and earthworms use these dead organic matter for their food. They are called secondary decomposers. And next, abiotic components or non-living components. The abiotic components or the non-living components of the ecosystem. They are of three categories. Firstly, climatic and physical factors: air, water, soil, and sunlight, rainfall, temperature, humidity, soil textures, and geomorphic conditions. Second, inorganic substance. There are various nutrients, elements, and compounds such as carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, carbon dioxide, water, etc. These are involved in the cycling of materials in the ecosystem. Next, organic compounds. These are proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, humic substance, etc. They largely form the living body and link the abiotic compounds with the biotic factors. The abiotic factors determine the type of organism that can successfully live in a particular area. Some of the major non-living factors of an ecosystem are sunlight, water, temperature, oxygen, soil, air, etc. Sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. It influences organism and their environment. It has a profound effect on the growth and development of life. And next, water. Water is a precious for life. All living things requires water for their survival, but some can live with lesser amounts. Temperature. All living things have a range of temperatures in which they can survive. Beyond those limits, it will be difficult for them to live. Okay. Next, oxygen. Many living things requires oxygen. It is necessary for cellular respiration, a process used to obtain energy from food. Others are actually killed by the presence of oxygen. Next, abiotic components: soil. The type of soil, pH, amount of water it holds, available nutrients, etc. determine what type of organism can successfully live in or on the soil. For example, cacti live in sand. Cattails in soil saturated with water. The inorganic substance like nitrates, carbonates, and phosphates occurs either freely or in the form of compound dissolved in water and soils. Some of them are recycled by microorganisms on the dead bodies of plant and animals. Functions of an ecosystem. An ecosystem is an organization that functions in a particular methods. The functions of an ecosystem includes: firstly, flow of energy through the medium of living organisms and their activities. Second, food chains. Third, biodiversity and biomass. Fourth, circulation and transformation of elements and nutrients, and next development of evolutions and controls. Energy is also consumed by the autotrophs at cellular level for the reactions related to growth, development, maintenance and reproduction. The specific functions processes of an ecosystem include photosynthesis and decompositions. Next, predators, prey relations, parasitism and symbiosis. Directly or indirectly, the ecosystem functional concept is useful in the management of renewable resources such as forest, watersheds, fisheries, wildlife, and agriculture, crops, and stock. The internal process, photosynthesis and respiration, are the two major processes involved in the production of and transformation of energy. The rate of photosynthesis increase by an increase of temperature. Many other factors influences the process of photosynthesis. However, it is involved in the intake of radiant energy and carbon dioxide and release of oxygen. Respiration is involved in the uptake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide and energy. In the absence of light, photosynthesis is arrested by respiration, but respiration continues. In the presence of light, photosynthesis and respiration work together. The total synthesis of organic matter resulting from the exposure of light can give the gross primary production. The amount of organic matter stored after appendage is called the net primary production. And primary production is the amount of organic carbon, and primary productivity is the rate of productions. The net primary productivity is also called as apparent photosynthesis or net assimilations. The grain, straw, stalk, roots, and harvest from a paddy fields comprise the net primary productivity. It is well known that animals are not capable of synthesizing their foods, so they have to rely upon other plants and animals for their foods. There are two biological processes involved in animal life. They are metabolism and growth. They require energy which is obtained from the ingestions of food. The food which is in excess of the metabolic needs, it used to produce animals tissue. This process is known as secondary productions. It is estimated by measuring the increase in weight or size of the animals over the period of times. So secondary productivity is the amount of new organic matter stored by the consumers or the heterotrophs. It is a function of the amount of primary production in an ecosystem. The total quantity of organic matters present at any given time in an ecosystem is called biomass. Life of ecosystems need a continuous supply of energy for survival. Almost all the energy available to us on earth comes from the sun. The radiations gives heat and light, and the uneven heat develops the wind to blow. The radiations evaporates water into the air, and the evaporated molecules are returned back as rain. Plants are fundamentals to all life on earth because plants have ability to trap solar energy failings over then and use this energy to building living tissue. This process is called photosynthesis. During this process, the inorganic energy poor molecules are converted into organic rich food molecules. In this way, plants do not need to depend on other organisms. Hence, they are treated as self-nourishers or autotrophs. Animals cannot use the sun in this way, so they are dependent directly indirectly on plants for food. Hence animals are treated on other nourishers or heterotrophs. The energy used during photosynthesis by plants is not lost. Sugar is a product of photosynthesis. The sugar contains stored chemical energy and can be burnt to produce heat. Now, in this process, carbon dioxide and water are released as byproducts. Sugars combines with oxygen inside the living cells and produce some outputs under the slow rates. This process is called respiration. It releases the energy in the form of complex molecules for use in maintaining the cell function. Plants are engaged in both photosynthesis and respiration. Animals can not make their own foods. They must eat other organisms to obtain the energy rich molecules for survival. They are the major consumers. Animals are technically called as heterotrophs. Habit disruptions. A forest is a living words of organisms and plants. Due to some events, a change in the setup many occurs which will be ultimately affect the ecosystem. For examples, the cutting the tree in a forest is considered to be the habitat destructions. This activity destroy the homes of some animals, increase the amount of light and that reach the forest floors, reduce the amount of food and for organisms that depend on those trees, reduce the amount of carbon dioxide taken from the air by oxygen released into it. As a result of this habitat disruptions, some organisms may become threatened, endangered, and eventually extinction. Hence, it is necessary to protect and preserve the ecosystem. Okay, thank you, students.